is Jeff Waters from the Canadian metal band Annihilator, and you're watching Rocknlive. I think it means, well, first we did a record, then we had our artist for 10 years send us a cover idea, and we liked the cover right away. It was actually kind of a cliche cover, zombie cover again, which we did 2 times now, and that was not my first choice. But when I saw the artwork, I said, perfect. It just works. It's one of those things where it works. And then I went through a big, long period of at least 30 seconds to come up with the title. I looked through a dictionary, and I was looking at the cover, and I was like thumbing through the dictionary, and I think I came across the word food or eating, and then beside it said feast, and I looked at the cover and said, there's a zombie eating a heart, feast, done. So that was the big, long concept title process. Well, we went through a long 2010-2013 time, 3 years of not writing any songs. So, and that was on purpose. We did a lot of other things in between, but basically we started in January with the first songs and finished with the cover and the mixing, mastering, cover. Everything was all done by mid or early April. So it was a very, very quick process. We did it in my Ottawa, Canada studio that I've had for many years, and since 1995. It started in Vancouver, and then 2003 the whole thing and me moved to Ottawa. And yeah, I do all of our records in my studio.
Okay.
We face our extinction day after day, oblivious to what we'll become. Persist to exist in our pathetic ways, nothing to show when it's done.
Actually, right from the days I made demo tapes in 1984-85, oops, that tells you how old I am. I'm 25 years old. I'm 25. I'm 47, so I'm not a young one, but I used to have cassette decks. I'd run upstairs and get my father's cassette player, and I'd have my own in my bedroom, and I would write a riff and write another one, another one, another one. I'd keep writing guitar riffs, and then I would sort of, I guess you call it splice, but sort of dub the riffs. So I'd put one riff, and then I'd copy another riff right after it. And if it fit, if they went together, then I would have a verse and a chorus. And that's pretty well the same system now. I mean, for many years I've had a nice studio, so with computers and fancy equipment and that, but the process is pretty much the same. I just sit in my studio, write riffs, guitar riffs, and there's no pressure. I just grab a coffee and write guitar riffs for fun. And then later, I put them all together. I try to figure out which riff fits with another one. It's kind of a strange way to do it, but in the end, when you get rid of all your bad riffs or the riffs that you don't like, you're left with maybe 50 hopefully good guitar riffs, and you put them together, and that's it. That's how we write the music, or I write the music basically. And then at the end of that, I just use a drum machine or drum software to put the drums in, fix them up, and bass guitar. I play the bass on all the Annihilator CDs. And then I just create a demo of music, fly my singer Dave Patton in to Ottawa, Canada. We sit down and listen to it and write lyrics, and then we start the vocals.
Okay.
We take what they give, complacency, the masses content to consume. The idiots are breeding 20 to 1, ensuring our future is doomed. We had it all and we pissed it away, ignoring the signs in our face.
I think I've been using, one thing I noticed with my so far pretty long career is that I seem to be drawn towards the lower priced guitars, not the guitars that cost €3,000 or €5,000, but the guitars that are I'll give you an example. Back in somewhere around 2001, Dave Mustaine had a deal with the ESP guitars, and he put out this very expensive signature model, but he also had a very cheap one in the stores for less than 800 euro. And they sent me those guitars. Dave sent me one of them, and I used the cheap one on my on a bunch of my records at that time. And it's the same thing. I've been able to I've released actually this guitar, call it the Jeff Waters Epiphone Annihilation signature guitar, Flying V, and we tried to keep the cost really low but make the quality of the price of like a 1,200 euro guitar. And it was a very long battle for a year to put the guitar together because companies need to make a profit, but I wanted to get the price down. So we argued and I won. So I got a very good guitar for a lower price. So I use this thing now on all my recordings, but again, I also have a deal with Gibson where I could have, you know, $5,000 Les Pauls or beautiful Gibson Flying Vs. But this thing, especially the neck of this guitar, is what makes this sound kind of unique. It's like a really hard, I know I'm getting into guitar stuff, but it's a really hard neck. It's made of the same material that a bowling ball is made of. And when you have the really hard surface, you can get the Van Halen, Zakk Wylde, Dimebag, Jeff Waters squeals. You know, those really high-pitched squeals that the guitarist can make. But you know, I've been sort of like pretty much a Marshall amplifier guy most of my life, and then I started getting endorsements from companies. I went to a really good German company called Hughes & Kettner. They had an amp called the Core Blade. I used that for many years. But now I went to a company because they made similar to a Marshall style, but better. And there's a guy, you might have heard him, Eddie Van Halen, makes his amplifiers called the EVH 5153, and they're like just a souped up Marshall Van Halen style, and that's the one I've been using for a few years and on the new album. I'm gonna use that on tour and hopefully for a long time. Effect pedals, there is a Van Halen pedal that I use on all my solos for about 8 years. It's called the EVH Phase 90, and it's really good for guitar picking, bringing out the picking in your, picking in your soloing. And other than that, I've got a signature distortion overdrive pedal that I use, but not too many effects. Pretty simple setup. I like the Angus Young style where he just plugs his amplifier in and he runs around on stage and plays. It's kind of what I like to do.
Okay.
Fucking and fighting and drinking all day. Intelligence left in disgrace. Deadlock. Idiocracy. Deadlock. Deadlock. Hypocrisy. Deadlock.
That was, I've got like the Exodus, Testament, Scorpions re-recording CDs. Some of them I really like, some of them not too sure about, but I never wanted to do any re-recordings because you could never get as good as the originals. There's no way you could, no matter how hard you tried. The sound could be better because of the modern studio equipment, but the feeling and the playing and everything, it's different. So I didn't want to do that, but my singer Dave had a great idea. He said, since 2007, our sales have been going up and up every time we put out a record, which is great news for me and our band in a time when most people's sales are going down. Most of the fans now that come to the concerts are young fans. They're not, used to be older fans, now less and less, it's more younger fans. So Dave had an idea of, why don't we re-record songs that we want to play live in our live set. But I said, I'm not going to release that for money on a main CD, but I would release it as free downloads or a bonus CD or something. So that's what the record company decided. They said, well, why don't you re-record them, put them as a free bonus CD. So that was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of work because we did 15 songs and 9 songs for the new studio record. So 24 songs. It was a bit of work, but it was a lot of fun. Again, it's not going to be as good as the originals, but it's got a good sound, and it gives younger fans an idea of some of the old songs because they can't find them in the stores. A lot of the fans say they can't find the CDs anymore. mean, you'd think it would be maybe a best of. You'd see some songs in there that are the songs that we have to play live. Set the World on Fire, King of the Kill, Alice in Hell, Fun Palace. But there's a lot of songs that are not the best of. They were really just songs that Dave and I sat down and said, which ones do we want to play live? So those ended up being on that. Also, I just remembered when we flew in a few hours ago, we're playing I can't pronounce it right, but the Motoculture Festival in August. Yeah, we'll be there first, and then we come back for a couple of months of touring, starting October, where we play 2 shows in France, then maybe some guitar clinics in Paris, which would be cool. What else are we doing? And then we might come back, hopefully in February or March again.
Last to the slaughter with nothing to say. To see how your life was in vain. Deadlock, idiocracy. Deadlock, deadlock, hypocrisy.
Quit smoking. That's one. Cut down the coffee, less coffee. Go to a gym. Walk. Stop eating cheeseburgers. Practice a lot. You mean prepare, like physically, or just?
Both.
Yeah, everything. I usually give myself about 2 weeks before we start as a band to rehearse to start playing guitar, because when I finish a CD, I don't touch, well, I kind of touch a guitar, but you know what I mean. I don't play the guitar unless I have to, because so I will go sometimes 3 months without playing a guitar. But then when it's time to rehearse for tour or guitar clinics or write songs, I usually give myself 2 weeks of playing guitar, maybe 2 hours a day, just to get the muscles back. I have a very strange way of picking the guitar. I watch my idols like Eddie Van Halen picking like this with their wrist, and then Hetfield and Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman, Gary Holt from Exodus. But I have a bit different style where a lot of my picking style comes from here, from the shoulder and the neck. It gets very tense. And it's a terrible, terrible way to pick, but I learned it, and I can't change it. So it's very difficult on my shoulders. So when I don't have to play guitar, I just shut it off. So I don't practice guitar. Basically, I don't practice. I just warm up to AC/DC and Van Halen and Slayer songs and make Annihilator music.
Okay.
Strange. Actually, I asked our bass player Alberto and Dave to come up with songs they like to hear, because they were fans of Annihilator before they joined. They're quite a bit younger than I am, so I just let them suggest ideas. Plus, Dave has to suggest the songs, because many Annihilator songs he can't sing and play guitar live at the same time, because the guitar might be a little too difficult to sing with. So he has to choose the songs that he can play and sing at the same time, so which is very understandable. Yeah, just finally looking forward to seeing them again on stage, and the festival that we're going to play in August should be a lot of fun. And let me see, I think there was talk of us maybe playing a festival called Hellfest again. So we played in 2010. And then the October 2 shows in France. I hope somebody, you get a chance to come out and see one of the shows. If not, there's always YouTube, you know. But yeah, check out the Album Feast. The cool thing about being a fan or a whatever, which I'm a fan of metal music, is that I can go and, you know, I read an interview or something, and our artist is saying how great their new album is, and it's the best album we've ever done. But now, in these times, you're able to go to iTunes or online to find some clips of the songs on the record company sites, or illegal downloads, or, you know, you can hear it on iTunes. So you can see if it's any good. Because I can tell you how good the album is. I really think it's a good record, but it's up to the fans to see what they think.